Thank you, thank you.
Meet you, by the way.
Pleasure, pleasure. Hi, how's it going? Awesome. So my disclaimer for my talk right off the bat is everybody has their own path to success. Everybody has their own dreams. So what I have to say may not directly affect you, but in any avenue that you're trying to chase, whether it be getting to the top of that CEO mountain, or if you're trying to become an actor as well, these aspects of fitness apply to everybody. So as you've read, the talk is the Unfit Dream Chaser. And plain and simple, if you're unfit, you can't chase your dreams. Throughout this entire talk, I'm gonna sprinkle in the analogy of the kid chasing the ice cream truck. Just because I think we can all envision what it looks like, or we may have even been that kid trying to chase that ice cream truck down the street. And with that, I'm gonna tie in how hard work, positivity, and motivation can be detrimental to your success. So I know you heard that and you're thinking, wait, did he just say yes? Hard work, positivity, and motivation can be detrimental to your chasing your dreams. All right, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna explore how that ties in. Now, in fitness, what I've done is I've broken it down to 3 categories. There's physical fitness, mental fitness, and emotional fitness. And I'm gonna umbrella those 3 categories of hard work, positivity, and motivation, and to see if I can just change your minds on how to think of this process. So physical fitness. This is probably the most commonly thought of form of fitness when it comes to thinking about what it means to be fit. Because you're there and you see it. You can see somebody's in shape. You can see somebody in whatever sport they're in, excelling in whatever it is that they're doing. You can see it. It's the most obvious one. And we as people that are trying to be physically fit, we can set our own goals. It doesn't matter what your goal is, it's still a physical fitness goal. Whether or not you want to run the 100 in 10 seconds, or if you want to deadlift a house, or if you just want to be able to climb a flight of stairs without being short breathed. That's a fitness goal, a physical fitness goal, right? So once you've identified that these are your fitness goals, you have to understand that there are limitations. And there's 2 types of limitations: limitations that you can overcome and limitations that you can't overcome. For the limitations you can't overcome, I'll cover in the next category. And it's an example of, if I stopped growing at 4 feet, but I had ambitions to play for the LA Lakers, not gonna happen. All right, so I'll let you know how we can overcome that obstacle. But for this category of physical fitness, we're gonna focus on those limitations that we can surpass. So for example, if I want to be able to run the 100 in under 10 seconds, I have to cater my workouts to that. I have to build my legs, I have to build my lower back, gotta get good form. But if you have a fitness mindset of, oh, well, I just wanna be able to get to the top of the stairs and not be short-winded, well, that's not exactly the best mindset if you want to be able to set records and go to the Olympics. You got to set your sights far, set them high. So once we've understood that, all right, this is my avenue that I want to explore, this is the fitness world that I want to work in, now all of a sudden we have to work hard. And we got to put our all, we got to spend all our energy. And this is where hard work can become detrimental to your success. Because we all of a sudden tie in hard work with always going hard, always giving everything we need. But if you really think about it, there's this little aspect that you have to consider. In the physical fitness world, the top of the pyramid are your bodybuilders. Your peak fitness, they're there. And if you ask them, what is the most important day in the gym, excluding the first day, because as you know, the first day is always the most important. You get in there, you do your thing. But if you ask them, what is the most important day in the gym? I'll pose that to you. What's the most important day in the gym? Leg day? Motivation? What do you think is the most important day in the gym? Rest day. Boom. Rest day is the most important day in any physical workout. You can go to a bodybuilder and ask them, hey, what's the most important day? They'll tell you rest day. But they'll also tell you, I hate rest day. Because it feels like you can't do anything. You feel like nothing's happening. But what's happening is your body is recovering. Right? So once you understand that there are these limitations, because society has done a good job of saying, mind over matter. That's all you need, mind over matter, you can do it. But there's also another saying of, well, you're only human. And unfortunately, our bodies can't keep up with our minds. So we need that rest day in order to just get everything back all together, get our bodies ready to keep up with our minds. Now, I tried memorizing this, tried memorizing it to the best of my ability, but I have it here. So, unfortunately, when we're pushing our bodies, unless somebody tells you, hey, you're going too hard, sometimes, unfortunately, we have to feel it. We got to get to that point so we understand ourselves. In chasing my dreams of being a Thai fighter, Canadian champ, lightweight champ, many, many pounds ago, I passed out trying to cut weight. So if that's something that you're aspiring to do, you want to be a fighter and you want to fit in a certain weight class, when it comes to cutting weight, you got to understand there's good ways to do it and bad ways to do it. And I pushed myself past this limit. I had to cut 3 pounds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you don't have any more water weight in you, it will take its toll. I got in the sauna, wearing a sauna suit for 2 hours while doing jumping jacks. Crazy, yes. Now, I wasn't that wild. I had my trainers still there with me, making sure if something happened, then they'll be able to pull me out. But I passed out. I won the fight, though, but I passed out. In my dream chasing of being an actor, again, I'm not physically exerting myself anymore. I'm mentally exerting myself. I'm putting all those hours in on set. And after one project, after a week of filming, 18-hour days nonstop, I fell asleep behind the wheel. It was an expensive lesson I had to learn, but I learned I needed rest. My body could not do it. My mind could, my body couldn't. So keep that in mind, that rest is important. Society has done a great job of mixing up what it means to rest and what it means to be lazy. All of a sudden you're resting and you think that nothing's happening and you think that you could be doing more. And you think that you're just being lazy, but in reality you're not. You have so much more time than you really have, so just take your time. So in that moment, you understand that, okay, because in hindsight, you'll understand that, okay, maybe I could have done more. But hindsight, everything's 20/20 in hindsight. So once you understand that rest is not lazy, maybe you'll have a better appreciation for what it means to work hard. Because you deserve your rest time, so take your rest time. Don't neglect it. Sleep specialists have said that it's on the average 8 hours the human body needs in a 24-hour day to perform efficiently. 8 hours. Sometimes we struggle with that. Now, one thing you can realize as well is they've also concluded that these 8 hours don't have to be at once. You can do a 6-hour sleep at night, then find 2 hours within the day to finish those 8 hours, just for your optimum results. Specialists have confirmed it's okay to nap. To nap is not lazy, all right? You're just trying to get the amount of rest that you need so you can perform efficiently. Now, as I mentioned, everybody's body is different. So if you realize that you can efficiently work off 6 hours of sleep at night, great, go for it. But know that that's your limit. Don't assume. So with that, now you're considering about saving energy. Now you're starting to work smart. Once you start working smart, a smart worker putting in the same amount of effort as a hard worker will always get better results. But if you are a smart worker on top of being a hard worker, then you just broke barriers now. And this is what ties in now to the next category of fitness. Well, actually, before I go on to that, kid chasing an ice cream truck, physical fitness. If you're unfit, essentially, you're not going to be able to catch this ice cream truck. You're going to get short-winded, truck's gone, and you're just there waiting, hoping it's going to come back, but you know for a fact it's not. So in the terms of physical fitness, to be physically fit, you can catch that ice cream truck, right? You can keep up. So physical fitness, great. So now back to smart work, hard work. Working smart ties into mental fitness. What is mental fitness? All mental fitness is your capacity to memorize. Now, like how bodybuilders are at the top of their game in the physical fitness realm, in the mental fitness realm, chess grandmasters. If you're familiar with the game of chess, and if you've been taught chess, you're taught, okay, think a few moves ahead. Analyze the board, think a few moves ahead, and always stay ahead of your opponent, maybe 3, 4 moves ahead, and you'll always win. But if you look at a chess grandmaster, they're not actually doing that. They're actually memorizing games that they've read. So if you do a move, all they're doing is they're understanding that, okay, if I can move here, then all of a sudden these are all the variations that I can play. That will lead to a win. They're not computing, they're memorizing, they're processing, as opposed to just being in the moment and figuring that out. And it takes an incredible capacity, mind capacity, to just be able to memorize one chess book. I don't know if you've read a chess book, but that's all it is. It's just moves, a list of moves. Now, for everybody else that's not trying to be a chess grandmaster, mental fitness equates to our capacity to concentrate before our mind wanders. And it happens to everybody. It's happened to me a lot when it comes down to having to read. Back in the day when I was in school trying to study for my biology test, after a chapter, I'm done. I can't, no, don't even want it. My mind wanders. But by the end of the semester, all of a sudden, I could read 5 chapters in a row. I'm good. And all it is I've stimulated my mind throughout the entire semester, where now my mind craves this work. Just like if you're in the gym, your body, endorphins get released every time you go and do a workout, and then your body starts to crave these endorphins. That's why you want to go back to the gym. You need to have motion. And with the mind, all it is a firing back and forth of neurons in your synapses. And that stimulation in your mind, all of a sudden your body craves that. So then it's able to do something. It's a routine. And it's a great thing about humans is we love to fall into routine. So with that, we look at things now on why do we do things? And this ties into the next portion of the talk of how things can be detrimental. It's because if you're doing something and all of a sudden your mind wanders, it's different than just going to the gym. If you're in the gym and you're pushing weights and your body thinks that it's going to fail, all you need to do is just tell yourself, I could do this. Bam. You do your next rep. But in the mental game, because the mind is stronger than the body, once your mind goes to something it'd rather do, it's gone. Like, again, studying for biology. I'd rather think about Food Network. All of a sudden, I'm thinking about Food Network, and then I'm in the kitchen. My books are upstairs. I totally forgot my books. And the trick, though, now, to get yourself back on track is you need this lovely little thing called motivation. And this is where motivation can get detrimental. What is motivation? Motivation is a reason to do something you don't want to do. That's all it is. If you have a day job, great, 9 to 5. Sometimes you ask people, or people ask you, why do you do this job? Oh, I do it for the paycheck. It's a great paycheck. I got benefits. Great, awesome. You know why you want to do that. But then you have other people that are, oh, I do this to get a paycheck so then I can focus on this job. So then I can do X, Y, and Z. So I can have time to travel. Great. So now instead of thinking about motivation, start to explore your why. Why do you do things? There's been so many times where you hear people say, what's your why? Discover your why. Sure, why can be seen as motivation. It can easily be correlated as to, no, my why is my motivating force. But for this talk, I want to change that mindset and turn your why from motivation to inspiration. Because when you're inspired, you just want to do. You don't need any extra force on the outside helping you do something. Source of motivation could be, oh, I got to listen to, this song to get me pumped. I got to listen to my Tony Robbins podcast. I got to have a cup of coffee. But then all you're really doing is you're desensitizing yourself. You're dulling your senses. You're dulling your ambition. So all of a sudden, months down the line, your body's craving this need for motivation, and now you need more. I need a second song. I need a second cup of coffee. But when you explore your why as a reason for inspiration, all of a sudden you just want to do these things. All of a sudden your body gets going, and then it falls into this routine, and then you develop another M word. You develop momentum, and which is 10 times better than motivation because your body just goes. And tying in with that, where I mentioned about how the unpassable limitations. So for example, if I was 4 foot and I wanted to play in the NBA, not going to happen. But then this is now an aspect where I have to challenge myself and be aware versus being delusional. Because at 4 feet, I could still be in the NBA. I could be a general manager. I could be a physiotherapist. I could be a sports broadcaster. So your passion for the game doesn't die, but you're still in it. And now, once you realize that, okay, this is what I want to do, now you're no longer tackling an unsolvable project, then now you can get somewhere. Because that's essentially what leads to mental burnout, is when you're trying to solve an unsolvable problem. And then you're just there and you're just thinking, what's going on? So once you have a reason to solve this problem, and now that you can get around it, now you can start to work, right? And that's where the mental game comes in, is to be mentally fit. You have to be able to efficiently use your mind so then you can absorb the most amount of information. Now, one thing too in the mental world is that you have to really understand that you need to be in the right mindset to do things. Otherwise, you'll just deviate off a path, always seeking momentum or motivation. I need to do this for motivation reasons, and you're just going so far off the path when really you should have went this way, right? So you have to be aware. You have to get rid of that self-delusion and understand that if I have a why, it's going to drive me so much easier to my destination rather than just doing things sluggishly, hoping that, something comes of it. So keep that in mind for your mental fitness. Have a strong why, and that's going to help you increase your mental stamina, your desire to want to do things, and it's going to make things 10 times easier. Now, in the world of mental fitness, to compare that with the kid chasing the ice cream truck, okay, what if I didn't have to chase the ice cream truck? Now you're thinking outside the box. What if I threw my bike in the road? That'll make the ice cream truck stop. There we go. Now I don't have to chase it. I can just walk up to it. Easy, right? So when you start working on your mental fitness and you can think outside the box and you have your ways to think where I can achieve this so much easier, efficiency is going to become your best friend. So keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to physical fitness, having a strong why, having a good mental game helps with that. But now, what helps your mental fitness? Which ties into the next thing, our emotional fitness. What is emotional fitness? Emotional fitness is simply our awareness of you. of yourself, knowing you, how you act, how you think, how you react. And when you tie this into, okay, well, I do this because of this, you then realize that I react because I'm conditioned this way. There's so many ways that the human body becomes conditioned, but we just don't know it. As humans, we have this capacity to always be analyzing, whether or not it's whatever we're focusing on, because all of our senses are always working. Whether or not you know it, you could be cold, you could be hot. Whether or not you know it, this light could be bright, this light could be dim, but you're focused on something, so it's not something that you're processing right in the forefront of your mind. It's your subconscious that's processing it. So then by the end of the day, all of a sudden you realize that, oh, I hate this thing and I like this thing. I don't know why, but I just do. It's because your subconscious is doing a great job of just putting little thoughts in your head. And this turns into your personality. And all your personality is your ego. Now, the ego is a tricky word to navigate. And I have the definition here. Your ego, as defined in the dictionary, is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. But for some reason, we have made the ego and correlated it to somebody that's cocky, to somebody that's full of themselves. These people have ego. You see somebody with low self-esteem and you think, oh, they don't have an ego. But in the definition, it's an awareness of your own self-esteem. So if you have low self-esteem, you still have an ego. This is what society has deemed you to do. This is what's appropriate. Your ego just stops you from being judged. If you're a little confused by that, here's a simple experiment. Everybody here is wearing clothes because that's how society has deemed appropriate. So we're not judged. If you were sitting there naked, everybody behind me or behind you would look at this person. Why is this person naked? But if you flip the role and you go to the center of the Amazon and you find yourself amongst the tribe and they're just there in banana leaves, but you're clothed, who's weird now? And it's just ego. Ego's not a bad thing. Ego is just you. Here's another example of ego. 1 + 1 = 1. 2. We went to school, we learned math. 1 + 1 = 2. It's proper, right? But here's a little way to look at it. If you take 1 glass of water, pour it into another glass of water, how many glasses of water do you have? My sweater, we can all collectively say it's purple, but you can have your, oh no, it's a dark purple. Okay, sure, but purple for the sake of this argument. But then you go to a colorblind person, all of a sudden their opinion is invalid. Why? Because our ego says, no, it's purple. You're colorblind. You can't be part of this. I prefer orange Gatorade. Nobody likes orange Gatorade. I love orange Gatorade. And it's just ego. There's nothing wrong with ego. Don't stray away from the fact and think that ego is a bad thing. Right? So now all of a sudden we're exploring this thing called ego, and we're put into society and we're taught to think certain ways. And now all of a sudden it starts to take away things because all of a sudden we don't want to talk to people anymore. We can't talk to people because of our egos. We don't want to hear this person's mindset. We don't want to dive into this. So what it does is it takes away from communication. And communication, as humans, we are a social species. We love to talk. But as soon as you take this aspect away, then things start to change. Things start to shift. There's an experiment that was done. Dr. Harry Harlow, he did a lot of social experiments with chimpanzees because chimpanzees are second to us in terms of how social they are. So he used the patterns that he developed studying these chimpanzees and figured out, okay, this is how humans would react. So he, after all these studies, came to the conclusion and formulated a theory, and it goes something like this. There's 5 monkeys. Puts 5 monkeys in a room with a ladder, and at the top of the ladder, there's food. Now, all of a sudden, one of the monkeys wants to climb that ladder to get the food. So what happens? The other monkeys get sprayed with cold water. So now all of a sudden, the monkeys realize, okay, if somebody touches the ladder, we get sprayed. So then no, they put an end to that. As soon as one monkey touched the ladder, all the monkeys ganged up on it, pulled him down, made a big fight out of it. Nobody climbs the ladder or else we get sprayed. Eventually, they understood, nobody climbed the ladder. Then they took out one monkey, introduced a new monkey. Now this new monkey wants to climb the ladder. It sees food. But then all of a sudden, the other 4 monkeys, no, can't do that because they're afraid to get sprayed. Eventually, that new monkey learned, okay, nobody climbs the ladder. And then all of a sudden, they take out another monkey, put in a new monkey. That new monkey wants to climb the ladder. All of a sudden, it gets beat up. Then it learns, no climbing the ladder. Then all of a sudden, all the monkeys are replaced. Now you have 5 monkeys who have never been sprayed but don't climb the ladder. And it's a collective ego now. And it's a dangerous thing because then everything falls into a single pattern. You stop talking, you stop asking questions, you're complacent. And when you stop talking about things, all of a sudden you realize that you could do things on your own. It takes away dialogue. Again, as I mentioned, we're social people. We need to talk. We need to share our emotions. We need to explore our emotions. When it comes to especially just communicating, as soon as you start to take away an exploration of your emotions, especially specific ones, we'll look at, for example, jealousy. You're not supposed to feel jealousy, but if you're in a relationship and somebody's feeling jealous, if you suppress that, it turns into a little earworm, as opposed to just bringing it up. Maybe there is, this hot person at your spouse's work who's making you feel uncomfortable. Bring it up. It helps keep that line of communication open. Can't hide things. Anger. Anger is a bad emotion. There's so many ways to deal with it. Anger management. And now all of a sudden, if anger's bad and you suppress this anger, well, a reality of it, certain presidents stay in office. Why can France and South Korea get their president impeached? Because they stayed angry. They sat in, they protest, as opposed to, because Capitol Hill was looking pretty empty after the second day. First day, everybody was there and rioting and angry, but then all of a sudden, okay, we're done being angry. But if you stay angry, it enforces change. It's a very powerful and strong emotion that people can use and feed off of. Sadness. If you suppress your sadness, that can lead to severe depression. And it's one of those emotions that you can't really shake. So you need to explore these things. Now, as I was mentioning about how once you feel that, okay, you don't need to talk and you start to take away communication, you take away simple questions like, how are you doing? It's an easy question, but society kind of made us really busy. So all of a sudden, how are you doing? Oh, fine. How are you? Cool. Go to work. We're too busy. We typically don't have and don't expect to sit down for an hour after asking somebody, how are you doing? It's like a small mind thing we do where we say it to be cordial, but we don't really want to know. And that's all it is, because society has done a good job and made us busy. Society is just trying to take away communication. And now all of a sudden, we stop asking how you're doing, we stop talking, then we stop forgetting how to talk. Now we're talking to people and we're just hearing them, but because we don't do it enough, it's out of practice. We forget that words are just 10% of communication. We forget about body language. We forget about listening to the pitch and intonation of people's voices. Soon we just don't care to listen to people. Then what do? Put them on our smartphones. We have an app. We can talk. Text. Right? And then now all of a sudden we're texting each other. Now I have to decipher, I'm fine. Great. Go to work. Right? And now that once we've done that, we've taken away the communication aspect. We stop exploring these emotions because it's not just for one aspect of, I guess, fitness where it's just one person's gaining from it. The listener, as well as the person giving the answer, gains emotional fitness. And that's something that you have to realize. So all of a sudden we're alone now, and we're left wondering, okay, how do I deal with my emotions by myself? And then all of a sudden we start to dip into the self-help section. We can help ourselves. We're capable. We get our favorite podcasts. We get our favorite little book. We get whatever. And the commonality with all of these books, podcasts, TED Talks, whatever it could be, is positivity. Stay positive. Be positive. Great. And then this is now how I'll try and convince you how positivity could be detrimental to your success, to your dream chasing. I want positivity to be the outcome of your thinking, not the process of your thinking. A lot of people, they use the phrase, trust the process. Okay, so what's your process? Where, for me personally, in the industry of acting, I have people who work waiter jobs, side jobs, whichever they do, and then they just wait for an audition. As opposed to the other actor who has their side job. After they're done their side job, they go and they read, they study, they do more research while waiting for their audition. So which process sounds better? Right? The second option. But then if you're just there thinking, trust the process, it'll all work out. In the world of physical fitness, you're at the gym, you're lifting weights. Oh, I'm going to get fit. I'm trusting the process. Okay, but what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Because I've had runners spending so much time on their biceps. What process? Oh, you're putting time in the gym? Great. Well, your process of working your arms more than your legs and lower back, not really the best process. But they're positive about it. They got a great mindset. No, this is the gym. I'm working out in the gym. Cool. You're positive. But about what? Right? So with that, all of a sudden, you're getting these self-help tips of being positive, of learning how to cope with yourselves, and you're no longer communicating. All of a sudden, it starts to take away from your ability to explore your emotions. You wake up in the morning, you're sad. I don't need to be sad. I don't have to be sad. I can't be sad because this book says not to be sad. I wake up feeling angry. No. Let me just go to the gym and punch it out, and then I'll be fine. But are you exploring that emotion? Are you figuring out why you're doing that? Because as I mentioned, emotional fitness is just your awareness of you. Are you aware of why you were angry? Are you aware of why you were sad? And then especially tying into sadness and an excessive amount of sadness, and you lead into depression. It's a sad reality, but it's because we're not allowed to express ourselves. And there's no correlation as to why the suicide rate in men is 3 times greater than women. Is because men are suppressed even more from sharing their emotions. And it's a sad reality. And all it is because they don't want you to talk. Society doesn't want you to talk. Because if you're positive, you're complacent. If you're complacent, you're okay. Right? And it just drives you down this rabbit hole. And because you're not talking to anybody and sharing these emotions, you all of a sudden assume that this person's okay. Instagram. You look at somebody's profile. Oh, wow, they have such an amazing life. They look so happy. I don't want to bore them with my problems. And that's all it is. It takes somebody to listen, just somebody to be there. I've been in situations where I'm talking with friends and I ask them, hey, how you doing? And they'll tell me, oh, wow, I don't even know where to start. Ha 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 ha. And then I just sit there and I say, okay, well, start somewhere. All of a sudden they take whatever one idea, express it, and a floodgate of different other emotions happen. Sometimes they even end up crying. And I'm not even talking. I'm just there and I'm listening. I'm giving them that opportunity to express, to vent. And me as the listener, now I get to work my emotional fitness because now I get to be there and I get to experience another person's emotion. And how does that make me feel? And them giving the answer, this is them now understanding that, okay, they're working their emotional fitness. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay. And when you're emotionally fit, then you can help other people. And it's all about helping other people. Tying it in where airplane etiquette. I wholeheartedly believe in airplane etiquette where you put your mask on first before helping another person. If your mask isn't on, if you aren't physically fit, if you aren't mentally fit, if you aren't emotionally fit, you can't help anybody else in these categories. It's impossible. You're just going to do more damage to yourself. And it's why in the world of emotional fitness, we have to be able to share these things. We have to be able to talk. And it's the only way to help our emotional fitness is to explore emotions. Because then in return, if you help somebody else become emotionally fit, they're going to help you become emotionally fit. Because it's a give and take, ebb and flow. I listen to one person, they listen to me. Right? So you share these emotions, you build that inner strength. So now you have your physical fitness being aided by your mental fitness, and then your mental fitness being aided by your emotional fitness. And this all goes applicable to whatever it is that you're chasing, whatever dream it is you're chasing. I'm not here to change your mind and change your goal and change your line of approach. I'm just here to just let you know that these three things, they can be detrimental if you don't use it properly. Hard work, positivity, motivation, they're tools. If you abuse your tools, you're not going to be able to get the job done properly. If you use a tool wrong, you're not going to be able to do the job at all. Right? I don't know if any of you are into hardware and fixing stuff at home, but if you use the wrong tool, it just becomes, hard. If you need to drill a hole, all right, somebody hands you a butter knife. It's not going to work, right? But you can try. You're just going to hurt yourself. Something's going to happen. It's going to take you away. So these three aspects of fitness are necessary to help achieve your goals, to attain your goals, whatever it may be. Again, if I want to be a chess grandmaster, I don't need to go to the gym and be able to lift a house. Just doesn't make sense. That's not where my efforts have to be. So now this is where I have to build my physical fitness, mental fitness, and emotional fitness differently. If I want to be in the game of, being able to help people have strong emotional fitness, then that's what I have to work on. To be able to give a talk at a fitness seminar, okay, then maybe I have to go to the gym a bit so I don't come off as somebody who's unfit. Tying it back to the kid chasing the ice cream truck. An emotionally fit kid chasing an ice cream truck, he'll realize that he can talk with, somebody to help him get this ice cream. He doesn't have to chase it. Why not talk to somebody who can chase it? Or better yet, talk to the driver. Hey, you're going too fast. Could you slow down? And it's an unfortunate thing where people just don't ask for that help, right? So once you start asking for help and understanding it's okay to ask for help, take away your pride, then all of a sudden it opens the avenues so much more. Because a strong, emotionally fit person, they don't try to achieve things on their own so much. They believe in teamwork. And when you're emotionally fit and you can connect with people, you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, well, if I want it done right, I'll do it myself. Well, great, do it yourself. And once you get to the top, it's going to be pretty lonely because you want to rise with people. And it's another aspect of pride where when you're at the top, you look at people that didn't help you, you don't really want them to be at the top with you. Right? You want to have people and surround yourself. So don't rush yourself to the top alone. Take your time. Focus on that emotional fitness and just slowly get up there. Now, how do you, I guess, better all of these, to encapsulate all of these? In order to better your physical fitness, in order to better your mental fitness, your emotional fitness, there's a simple test that you can do where it's patience versus tolerance. So it's an easy way to lose yourself in a few things is just by understanding what it means to be patient and what it means to be tolerant. The definition for patience is the capacity to tolerate without getting angry. Tolerate means to allow something to exist without interference. And the key difference between these definitions is that word capacity. To tolerate something, you don't need capacity. To be patient, you need capacity. And in that capacity is understanding. You've taken the time. So applying this to physical fitness, if you have a small pain in your shoulder, but you keep working your arms, you're tolerating this pain. A lot of bad things can happen. You can pull something, you can tear something, and all of a sudden it puts you out of commission. Or would you be patient enough to go to the doctor, get it checked out, understand that, okay, maybe I do need to rest it, and be patient until it gets better so then you can go back to working it out again. In emotional fitness, tolerance, people are telling you, oh, you got to be happy, you got to be this. Okay, so you're going to tolerate it, you're going to put up with it. Rather than being patient and exploring why are you feeling these emotions that you're feeling and how can I apply this to X, Y, and Z to help whatever situation. Take the time. Because again, emotional fitness is simply stunted by us thinking we don't have time. We have plenty of time. I don't know if you've taken the time to just understand and realize how long a year really is, how much change happens in a year. It could be mentally, physically, or emotionally. A lot of change will happen. People grow, people change, right? But you have to understand that, and you need to take the time to understand that. So that's where patience really cuts in. And to be mentally fit now, all of a sudden, are you trying to consistently learn a certain way? I always drive myself crazy trying to memorize whatever passages that I have to. Okay, well maybe there's a better way to approach it. Maybe I can take another approach, and am I patient enough to learn a different way to learning something? Or am I just going to do it because this is how it was done? Right, so take that time. Patience versus tolerance. Am I just tolerating it? Or do I understand? Am I allowed to have this capacity to understand that, okay, I can tolerate it? And that's a simple difference with that. So again, with this talk, my goal isn't to change your goal. My goal isn't to, no, you're doing it wrong. You could be doing it right. I don't know. Everybody's path is different. I use the example of Hollywood, aspiring to go to Hollywood. There's my way where you start off doing student films, not getting paid, and then start doing the bigger projects, get a small agent, then go, travel to the West Coast, see what opportunities come here. Or, because especially I can't work in the States until I get a visa, right? And to get a visa, I have to get all these credits. Or you could just say, you know what? No, I'm just gonna fly to LA, and I'm gonna get lucky. It could happen, it could work. So I'm not here to tell you that no, your way of thinking is wrong, because it could be right. When chasing your dreams, when chasing success, there is no right or wrong way. So just remember that. But with this, understanding how hard work, positivity, and motivation can be detrimental, and not to abuse these tools, that's all I'm trying to open up the mind with. So keep that in mind. Now, as I wrap this up, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I have Instagram TV videos on chasing your dreams, what steps you can actually take, more direct steps that can help you, who to talk, what websites to go to, things like that, inspirational books as well, mentioning that. So check that out at xdeguz. But to surmise this talk, again, there's no such thing as an unfit dream chaser. You don't have to be fit in all three aspects. You don't have to excel in all three aspects in order to achieve your dreams. But once you understand what dream it is that you need, now you can start to identify, okay, I do need to focus on my physical fitness. I do need to focus on my mental fitness. So in whatever dream it is you're chasing, you do at least need to excel in one of these and just be aware of the others. But don't bring yourself out trying to be the best in all three categories. It's just going to blow your mind. But give it a shot. You never know. It could work. It could be for you. But other than that, thank you so much for taking the time. Hope you appreciate the talk, and love you guys.
Thank you so much, Xavi, for being here with us. That was inspirational. Thank you.